would love to use comfortable, to feel more comfortable, please help yourself. You can grab a chair or sit right there while you're listening to the presentation. And it's gonna be followed by the guided sitting meditation and walking meditation that we're gonna practice together. At the end of the presentation, I'm also giving the time for all of us to share in the Q&A section. So to start, I think Miss has some words to introduce. So she has prepared for it. So yeah, so mời chị Hà. Share with our guests the topic for today. Today is the Thursday during the day's meditation course. So this our topic today is religion is spiritual cultivation. Okay. Thank you, chị. So I have taken away. I have put aside the chair because I'm not the nun. So I think I will prefer standing here to share with you, and then please feel free, just like brother and sister as usual, during the Dhamma sharing. But I'm taking up a little bit more time than usual. So dear brothers and sisters, today I am sharing diligent spiritual cultivation, which we have discussed for many times during our Dhamma discussion weekly. So, as you know, diligence is the opposite of laziness, right? And we all have laziness seed inside. Do you feel sometimes lazy? Yes, and I do too. But we also have the seed of have a seed of diligence, right? So discussing diligence in our spiritual cultivations that help us to figure out a way to nourish it in our daily life activities and also daily life practice. Would you love to take a sit on cushion, or you also can take a sit on the chair as well? Welcome. So basically, diligence or viriya, right? In Pali, or sometimes it's translated as energy, enthusiastic, continuous effort, and positive energy in doing wholesome actions to fulfill noble goals and bring benefit to others. Because we're talking about the diligence in the field of cultivation of spiritual life. So as we know, in our daily life, whatever goal that we set, right? If we would love to get it fulfilled, we need to make effort continuously, right? And same as spiritual life. In spiritual life, diligence takes a very important role in Buddhism, in the Buddha teaching. Diligence exists in almost every, every element of the 37 elements of assisting the path to transform suffering. Right? So, for example, 4 factors of diligence, or the 5 foundations, the 5 powers, the 7 factors of enlightenment, the Noble Eightfold Path. Those includes in each of those topics it always, the Buddha always mentioned and emphasized diligence as one of the most essential elements. So, why? Why diligence? Sư ông có thấy không? Mà con bỏ tiếng Việt là để sư ông thấy. Sư ông thấy không? Yeah. Okay, so why diligence is important? So can you see the screen easily from there? Okay, just want to make sure. So because life is short and impermanent, let's look back. And I believe that we all have the agreement on time flies, right? Our childhood was like just yesterday, and now we are like in the middle age. Say, it's so fast. Or like some of you say, oh, I'm old. Like Joe say, oh, I'm old. So life is very short. Or especially when we witness the loss of our loved ones, right? 80s, 80-something, 90s, and we say, wow, he or she has lived a long life. But actually, looking back, whatever age that you are at, you wouldn't feel that your life has been long. It's just like life has gone through, right, or passed by in a blink of eye. And just like we start the week Monday, say, oh, it's Monday, I'm tired, I'm looking forward to the weekend. And then when we have Friday, say, wow, it's Friday. Finally, we have weekend, right, to enjoy. But 2 days of the weekend pass by very quickly, and again, we get back to the loop of, again and again, and time flies, right? So we just gather together to celebrate New Year celebration, and now we are getting ready to welcome holiday season for another new year. So I believe that we all agree with each other that life is short and also very impermanent. We may think that we're healthy all the time, but when suddenly we gotta deal with sickness, we gotta deal with our, our loved ones' death, and we figure out, well, life is impermanent. But actually, life is impermanent. Life is changing every moment. And I believe that all of the members have done that. But when we reflect on that, we figure out what is the true value, what is the things, what is the meaning of my life, right? So that's the reason why we come here together, to figure out and also to nourish, to cultivate the value of our life, the meaning, the true meaning of our life. With the awareness of the nature of life is impermanent and also is short. We're not sure when we're going to pass away. Nobody can 100% sure when we're going to pass, right? Either tomorrow or next year or next week or, in 10 years or in 20, 30 years. But the awareness of impermanence of life help us to, be more motivated, to be diligent in our spiritual cultivation. And we all, as I mentioned earlier, know that without diligence, without hard work, without continuous effort, we can't achieve any goals that we made, right, in our life, in our career, right, and same like that in our worldly ideals. If we have ideals of serving human, or we have ideals of, like supporting our family, for example, we also need to be diligent, if we love to make spiritual progress, yes, diligence is a important factor that we all need to put into the practice. And the important point to the practitioner like us is that when we have diligence, when we are diligent, it makes us feel that most of the time of our practice is worth it. And also, like when we do any kind of like good deeds, or even in our daily life, it helps us to find meaning, and it helps us to figure out the connection between us and others, between us and our loved ones. So it's correlated with other wholesome qualities, right? For example, out of love, and then a father or a mother work very hard to support his or her children, right? And during the time that you're working, right, your love inspires you to work harder and harder. So it make you, doesn't feel like, oh, that hard work, but like also you also feel love. You feel like that's worth it. And same like that, when we could figure out the importance in our cultivating of well-being. Diligence is not something that we prove to others, say, I'm a good practitioner, or I am a diligent practitioner. It is not like that. It is for our own well-being. It is for our transformation. When we figure out my life has been up and down, but I knew that I could do it better to transform. I could do it better to change the situation. I am the one who take responsibility to make that change, to make that difference. So when we have that, and then we are diligent, it makes us feel like most of the time of practice is very, 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 very nourishing and also very meaningful. So I also have I myself resonate with this so much, because I have a full schedule. I mean, like very busy day that you can tell. But I think that let me tell you why I'm busy, because I get up around like 4:30, 4:45. From then I have time for myself to practice, to of course like practice meditation and do some like duties for the temple. But I also have the the Buddhist youth group to take care of, to have like the classes to teach at school, to also take the role of supporting and helping the Advent monk and the Sangha here to make sure that the retreat run well, or the services, weekly services, our Dharma Sangha practice every Wednesday, every Tuesday. I have classes every Monday. I have Buddhist youth program every Saturday. Every Sunday we have services here. Beside my job as an educator, but I think that thanks to diligence, and thanks to the deep aspiration in my heart, I could take the moment of service, and I can remind myself that what is the meaning behind this? What I'm doing, what am I doing it for? So I can tell that is diligence, and that diligence helped me to find a meaning in every good deed that I do, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I don't feel like I am the unfortunate person, but I feel like I am the most fortunate person. I'm very lucky to be able to serve, to be able to, live a life of service. And I believe that our our monastic sangha. And also I know many of the sangha members here, you have the same one. So the diligence is very important. So now let's take a look at the traits of a diligent person. I know that I learned a lot from each of you. And also I know that in each of us, we all have the seed of diligence, have the capability to be diligent when we are motivated enough to do something. So, so looking, and reflecting the trait of a diligent person, I would love to invite you to see and to reflect on your own how much percent, right, of diligence are there in yourself, like how many percent are there in yourself, right? So in whatever thing that you are doing, right, in your spiritual practice, or in your career, or in your wholesome, or noble goal that you have set, right, for yourself. So a diligent person is the one who perseveres without quitting. Right? And sometimes that person quit, but later on they figure out, it's meaningful, so they get back. And they, with perseverance, they figure out that they keep going without quitting. Again, the diligent person doesn't give in to discouragement, especially as a practitioner. We know that sometimes we have discouragement. Why? Because of a lot of distraction, a lot of stress accumulated from work, from family responsibility, from many, many other things out there, from social media, from internet, from, like our relationships. But as a diligent person, you wouldn't give in into discouragement. And like a diligent person continuously commit to wholesome acts. So one of the way that we can see in Buddhism that support this kind of commitment is that we have 5 mindfulness trainings, right? Or the 5 precepts, which we recite every month. So 5 mindfulness trainings or 5 precepts help us to, to prevent ourselves from doing unwholesome acts, and also encourage us to do the wholesome acts as much as we can in our life. So if we do it, we commit it, right, continuously, right? So we are we consider ourselves as a diligent person, and of course, as a diligent practitioner, we are hardworking in studying and practice, and we always keep our mindfulness as guiding light in our daily practice. So those are the traits of a diligent person that I would love to invite you to, reflect and evaluate or figure out those traits in your own self. All right, so we're gonna move on to the daily practice. How to, I believe that it's also very familiar to many of our Sangha members here. I just want to repeat that. And later on, I would love to have you contribute to it. So diligent in our daily life, it can be applied in 4 aspects, as the Buddha taught us in Tứ Chánh Cần, or like in the 4 Noble Truths. The four Noble Truths. The first element the first four elements in the Fourth Noble Truth, right? So first one is to prevent unwholesome quality from arising. So we know that in our life, right, we are easily, or we may easily be in touch with many unwholesome conditions around us, or in our living environment, or through our conversations. So with mindfulness, we'll figure out like, oh, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is negative, what is positive, and then like we can pick from the source of intake that we take in for our mind, and also our body. For example, if we know that having that toxic conversation gonna make us feel negative, right? So instead of still going ahead and then be in that conversation, we can say, well, I don't want myself to go on that path of negative, so I would say no to that toxic person, for example. Or more practically, using phone, right? Surfing the internet, using social media. There's a lot of sources. There are a lot of sources out there that can make us, that can, like trigger our unwholesome seed in our mind. So if we are not mindful and we are not selective to the sources that we take in, then we will water those negative seeds, and they're gonna manifest in our mental formation. That is not good. So the Buddha taught us that we need to be mindful to choose what sources are healthy, what sources are positive for us to take in, and we need to prevent the unwholesome sources, right, that arise, right, that we may trigger those wholesome seeds in ourselves to arise. So in Buddhism, there are two types of mind. The first one is conscious mind, and the second one is subconscious mind, or the storage mind. So we all have those seeds, both positive and negative in the subconsciousness mind. But if we are mindful to choose whatever seed, to choose whatever qualities, right, and the conditions to be in touch with, and then we're not gonna trigger those negative seed in our storage mind to manifest in our consciousness mind. So so that is very important. And the second is to distinguish unwholesome qualities that have been arising. We all have habit energy. We all have some kind of bad habit, each of us, that we, like inherit, right? We may inherit it from our parents, from our relatives, especially our parents. And also we have accumulated through our life, way of life. So the Buddha said that we need to recognize what is the unwholesome qualities, or what are the unwholesome qualities, what are the unwholesome habits, energies that we need to transform, right? So like we need to distinguish it. For example, we know that if we eat that kind of food, or like if we consume that kind of intoxicant, we won't be able to control our anger, for example, or we weren't able to, control our anxiety. So the Buddha say, with mindfulness, we need to stop, right? Extinguish the unwholesome quality by stop taking in and then stop doing something that, make increase the unwholesome qualities or the unwholesome habit energies, or develop our habit energy in that way. So that need a lot of attention, right, or mindfulness, and in our daily life. It is not just something that I believe that it's not just something that we reflect while we're practicing meditation, but a thing that like we need to be mindful in every activity that we have, right? So that we can figure out, I see that whenever I am with that person, I get angry, or I know that my anger is a big problem of mine, or I know that I have a lot of jealousy. For example, we need to be brave to acknowledge the habit energies that we have, so that we could like make a next step to do something, to change, right? To transform that habit energy. And so the first two qualities, or the first two practices, or the first two aspects are very, very important. And the third one is to cultivate wholesome qualities that have not yet arisen, right? So when we know that there is something good, the fourth one is like, and we have done something good, we have some wholesome qualities, we have some wholesome mental formations that have arisen in our mind, in our way of acting, in our way of speaking. So we recognize them as well and say, oh, every time I have that practice, every time that I am with that person, I feel a lot of energy. I feel like I'm more, I'm more supported, right? So that can be a source of nourishment. So recognizing that and be present, be grateful for that, for the opportunity to see or to be in touch with that person, or like that friend of integrity, for example, that can strengthen the wholesome quality in us. Or let's say we come together here, I believe that we have the aspiration to nourish the wholesome qualities in each of us, right? Like I would love to hear more about that when we have tea time, but I believe that we all will aspire to cultivate mindfulness, or at least to overcome some kind of bad habit energy, and develop some wholesome qualities that we have had. So figure out the environment, figure out the practices, and figure out the conditions that help us to strengthen those wholesome qualities is the practice of diligence. And if we haven't achieved, or like we haven't had the wholesome qualities, or we haven't watered the wholesome qualities in our subconsciousness or storage mind. So now, recognizing that, we would love to, like figure out the way, or make effort to condition it, right? Condition to make it, arise, make it arise in our mental formation, to make it arise in our speech, in our action. And there's like a quote saying, like in Buddhism, it say, as a practitioner, the good deed or the good act, right, no matter how small it is, we would practice it. And with the evil deed, no matter how small it is, we make effort not to do it. So it can be a summary for the practice of diligence. And, in our daily life, I believe that this kind of like 4 aspects of practice is very essential, not just, not just can be applied in our time for, for meditation or, when we have fun, but every time, right? Every time, every activity that we have in life, if we are mindful, if we have time to reflect and figure out what is right, what is nourishing, and what is not nourishing, and we ourselves make effort to let it, to cultivate the wholesome seed, cultivate the wholesome qualities, also extinguish and prevent the unwholesome qualities from our daily activities, daily speech or actions, or even our thought, because thoughts are very foundational. Because we usually work here, we usually think, and if even when we think, we as a practitioner, we don't let our thought go uncontrollably, right? So usually when we sit down for meditation, we notice the thought arise in our mind, but at the same time, we don't suppress it, but we know that, we acknowledge, oh, it is wholesome, or oh, it is unwholesome. So I should, if it is unwholesome, say, I shouldn't go that way. Okay, just smile and get back to my breath. That is when I practice specifically. And if you have to deal with your thought every day, like some of the people, like some of us, or sometimes when we are so stressed, and then we can't take control of our thought again and again, so we can we in that situation, we can alternate it with the some practice. For example, breathe, go back to our breathing, or for example, we walk and pay attention, put our attention to our steps that we make, and combining with our in-breath and out-breath. So that kind of practice gonna help us to calm down, and can we in that case, we don't suppress our thought, but we change the channel. We alternate the practices, or alternate our mental attention, so that we can take control of the situation, and then we can overcome the unwholesome or negative thought that can overwhelm our mind, and if we can take control of if we can take care of our negative thought in that way, and then for sure we can take control of our speech and our action, so to prevent from any kind of unexpected suffering, or unwanted suffering that may happen. Reflecting back on, or contemplate suffering that has happened, has also helped us to be more diligent in the practice of this whole aspect. We know that if we, out of anger, we say something, out of resentment, we do something, and then later on we would regret, right? So recognizing and be diligent in this practice day by day in each of our thoughts. It can help us to cultivate our well-being and overcome the bad habit energy that we have. So, dear Sangha, these are the 4 aspects of spiritual cultivation diligence. And I would love to share with you the quote from the teaching of the Buddha before entering Nirvana. Monks, if you are diligent, nothing is difficult. Just like a small stream that flows constantly can bore through storm. If a practitioner is lazy and gives up midway, it is like trying to make fire but stopping before the wood is hot. Though you wish for fire, it will be hard to tend. So the Buddha himself emphasizes diligence. So I hope through this you are gonna have like we have had an opportunity to reflect on our laziness and also diligence, and figure out the way to keep making commitment, right, for ourselves on the path of cultivating our well-being, our mindfulness, and just like the quote, the long journey start with a small step, right? We making effort in every step, a little bit every day. It can help us to achieve, right, the noble goal. We don't have to wait until someday to say, I finally got enlightenment. We don't have to wait until someday to say, I got my goal fulfilled, because we're not sure when. But if every day we know that we make little effort in our life to make ourselves better, right? Every moment, every day. Every day is a new opportunity for us to better ourselves, to change the situation, to transform suffering. So diligence is the key for us, right? Never give up and overcome our laziness, our negativity. So that it is for my presentation. And now I would love to pass the mic to you if you would love to share. Have you ever wanted to give up on something, but you overcame it through diligence? Have you? Would you love to share about that? Can you? Yeah, Tommy? Oh, you have a question. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Is it not working?
Okay, go ahead, Tommy.
So with the topic of diligence, I kept thinking of like meaning and purpose as well.
Yes.
Does that, and I feel like through everything you said about diligence, it seems like diligence could give you more purpose, and purpose could give you more diligence, and
exactly,
and that sort of thing. Is that typically talked about with diligence as well, like purpose or meaning in your actions in life?
Yes. The words of purpose, or like deepest aspiration. When we recognize our aspiration, right, our purpose, our meaning, and then we will be more motivated to keep going, to make more effort to fulfill our goal, right? Yeah. Thank you so much for that contribution, Tommy. And if you would love to share your own experience on diligence like this, please go ahead and do. Or if you have a question, please do ask some question. Any questions in your mind? Yes, please. Yes, please. Renee.
So I definitely like to set challenges deliberately for myself that sets me up to face challenges that I know I won't want to face but have to go through. So, for instance, the exercise and, not every day do I want to go to the gym. Do I want to eat healthy? Nobody really wants to do that, or some people do. But with all the junk food and other options that are readily available and much cheaper most of the time, it's not the easy option to be diligent and being mindful of our health, mindful of what those choices actually mean in the long term.
Right.
So for me, the diligence is the micro makes up the macro.
Yes.
And if we have those compounded micro habits that are positive and in our favor and mindful of always trying to keep, like Tommy said, that purpose in mind of having, regardless of our mental state, we have our disciplines in place so that we can feel good going to bed at night, knowing we did what we said we were going to do for ourselves. And even if we miss, it's not about never missing. It's about how quickly we can get back on that diligence track.
Right.
And that's something that I always tell myself is be graceful when you get off track, but just try to keep the diligence of mindfulness so you can be aware that you're off track and get right back on as soon as you're aware of it.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. Mistakes and failures can teach us the lessons. The important thing is that, like, if we reflect and contemplate, reflect on the diligence, and then figure out our purpose, and then like that make us motivated to, get back on track. We don't say like, oh wow, we should be perfect. Never go off track. We all make mistakes, but with the mistakes, the diligence also, like the meaning, the purpose, like Tommy said, help us to navigate and get back on track, right? So thank you so much for that reflection, Renee. Yes, please, Tommy.
So at times in my life, I think I've practically given up on myself before, and even recently, like, haven't been that great, but or yeah, semi-recently. But I mean, I think through diligence, I think I've found some self-care that has helped, and this place has been very helpful for that too. And yoga classes and whatever else, but yeah, sometimes we give up on ourselves too, and need to set up routines and find new avenues to build ourselves.
Right.
I think.
Thank you for your sharing, Tommy. So it's never like the end of life. It's never say never. We shouldn't say, wow, we should never say never. Because every moment that we are alive, we still have the opportunity to renew, to anew ourselves. And I believe that recognizing a lot of great conditions around us, our loved ones, our friends, our, like supportive sources that are available for us, right? And then be grateful, right? And then say, oh, and remember that, and then like it can help us to, get back, right? And make it better, right? And start a transformation. And it's possible right away at the moment that we make decision, and when, like that we are determined to change. Yes. So I usually share the quote by Master Thích Nhất Hạnh, happiness is the way. There's no destination to happiness, but happiness is the way. If we have found the way, we are happy. Be happy. because we are on the way. We get, that we are on the way. And don't worry about the destination. Say, when I'm get it, right? But like we know that we are on the path to get there. We're happy. We're great. Any other sharing? Any other reflection? Yes, please do.
Hello. Yeah, I think we can also use resilience. I think that resilience have a very deep meaning. I think it's also include the purpose. If we use resilience, it's just my opinion. So that's my thought.
Yes, thank you so much for that adding. Thank you. That's very true. Resilience. We try, and we may have failed, right? We could get back, figure out the meaning, and then like our resilience, our opportunity, our capability to be resilient, right? To be patient, right? With our meaning, with our goal, right? So that it can be very helpful for us to keep going, to make more effort, to be diligent. That is very true. And be resilient, be patient, right? That all help us to be more diligent, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much for that contribution, Tong. So thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for your listening, and also thank you for sharing your insight. That and very on time for my presentation. I'm very honored, very grateful for this opportunity to share with everybody. And the next, I will have sitting meditation first, right? Okay. So our teachers are leading us to, our Dharma teacher are leading us for walking meditation. So this is the time for us to practice walking, just for walking. So we're going to walk very slowly, and I hope that during that time, you may have some kind of thought arising in your mind. Say, what is the point that we walk so slowly? Especially if you are newcomers here. So we walk here just for the purpose of enjoy our walking. And every step that we make on earth, right, on the Mother Earth, can be the kiss that we make, right, to the Mother Earth. And we pay attention to our in-breath when we make one step, another step, right, out breath, for example. And you can, like, instead of like pay attention to your thought, you can now move and pay your attention to your steps, to your feet, to the movement of your feet. Let your mind, let your brain relax and have the chance to rest. Okay, and we also know that there's a lot of people out there, including our loved ones, who pass away, who are sick, or busy, and they are not able to walk and enjoy their walking like us. So we can walk for them with love, with peace and joy. So I hope you enjoy the practice. So we're gonna follow our Dharma teacher after standing and bowing down to the three jewel as we listen to the sound of the bell, and then one by one we're gonna follow our Dharma teachers for walking meditation. Chị invite the bell, chị. So, dear Sangha, now hearing the sound of the bell, please slightly bow down to the three jewels, and then please sit down on your cushion or on your chair for the next section practice, which is guided meditation. So, beloved Sangha, now please sit on your cushion or on your chair. And if you are sitting on your cushion, please cross your legs. Put your right hand on your left hand. And keep your back upright. Close your eyes slightly and keep your back upright. Sitting meditation is a way of returning home, to give full attention to ourselves, give our body and mind a chance to heal and relax. So please make sure you relax your shoulders, relax your whole body. Okay, and today I am chanting the inviting bell in Vietnamese, and then after that I'm gonna give you some guidance so that we all can contemplate, and then we'll practice silent meditation in 10 minutes, in which I invite you to reflect and contemplate on what you have taken away from diligence topic that we discussed earlier. Lòng nghe lắng lòng nghe tiếng chuông huyền diệu đưa về nhân tâm. Nguyện tiếng chuông này vang pháp giới, xa xôi u tối mọi loài nghe. Siêu nhiên vượt thoát vòng sanh tử, giác ngộ mê thấy nẻo về. Nghe chuông phiền não tan mây khói, ý lặng thân an miệng mỉm cười. Hơi thở nương chuông về chánh niệm, vườn tâm hoa tuệ nở xinh tươi. Ngưỡng mong đã Namo Shakya Muni Buddham. Namo Shakya Muni Buddham. Namo Shakya Muni Buddham. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. In, out. Aware of my in-breath all the way through, I breathe in. Aware of my out-breath all the way through, I breathe out. In-breath, out-breath. Aware of my whole body, I breathe in. Relaxing my whole body, I breathe out. Breathing in, aware of body. Breathing out, relaxing body. Smiling to my body, I breathe in. Releasing tension in my body, I breathe out. Breathing in, smiling to body. Breathing out, releasing tension. Care for my body, I breathe in. Easing my body, I breathe out. Breathing in, care for body. Breathing out, easing body. Feeling joy to be alive, I breathe in. Feeling happy, I breathe out. Breathing in, feeling joy. Breathing out, feeling happy. Aware of the present moment, I breathe in. Being present here and now, I breathe out. Breathing in, present moment. Breathing out, being present. Aware of my stable posture, I breathe in. Enjoying my stability now, I breathe out. Breathing in, stable posture. Breathing out, enjoying. please uncross your legs. You can stretch your legs, rub your hands together, and then gently massage your face, your neck, back, belly, your arms, your legs, and your feet. As you listen to the sound of the bell, please stand up. And then another sound of the bell, please bow down to the 3 jewels. And we finish our practice sessions today. Thank you so much for your presence and for your practice. So if you can, we can practice touching the earth for 3 times at the end, like our Dharma teachers are doing.